Welcome back to Seen It Before. We're probably going to say something stupid about your favorite movie because we've seen it all before. I'm Danny.
I'm Dan. Oh, hi, Danny.
Oh, hi, Mark. Dan.
What? No.
Oh, hi, Dan.
So, we got a little double feature for you today. The Room and The Disaster Artist. And we got some guests. So, let's introduce them. Chris and John. Chris, you all know his voice. You've never seen him on camera before.
I know. This is
his first
new.
time.
Oh, hi,
here.
everyone. Hi.
John, he's on enough. You've seen him enough.
Yeah, I've been here enough times.
Yeah. So, The Room.
The
The
room.
Room.
The
So let's
Room.
start with all of our experiences with The Room. So, John, we have an experience that we can talk about first.
So way back in the day, I worked at some like mom and pop retail store, and the manager would be like, "Hey, have you ever seen this random movie clip?" And it was the famous flower scene that we all know. But we had no idea what movie it was attached to. We're like, "This is some random scene." So we finally like did some research, figured out it was this thing called The Room. We watched it and like on some like broken ass like HP computer monitor while people would come in, and we loved it so much that like anytime we hired a new employee, we had to
Enter me.
Enter Dan. Anytime someone new came, we're like, you have to watch this movie. And it was like an initiation process. It was so wild.
It was very, very interesting. I was only there 3 months, but I think I watched the movie at least 3 times in
easily.
that span.
It was like every Saturday when it was like slow, we'd be like, well, I guess we're watching The Room again.
Yep, we're watching The Room again. That was very interesting. What are you guys? What was your
So I think
experiences?
mine at the time, it was the Nostalgia Critic. The Nostalgia Critic way back in the day did a
remember
review
that.
of it. I think it was the one that I think might have put him on the map. But I actually watched the Room recently because, as you guys know, later, like, you know, they kind of started, you know, showing all over the country where they were playing it at different theaters. So where I live now in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, at our Colonial Theater, which is a really old movie theater, they actually played it, and the actor who played Mark was also there. So the best part about it was when they played the movie, nobody was paying attention to it. They were all screaming out all the inside jokes. Like, I don't know if you guys know about the spoons.
They throw
Yeah,
the spoons at the screen. Yeah.
So it's for people that do not know, in the film, in the set of like the house, there's just randomly framed pictures of spoons. So whenever there's a spoon in the shop, I don't know where this came from because I never experienced it before. Everyone just brought boxes of plastic spoons and started chucking them into the theater. And some were rogue and flying all over the place. I had to like cover my eyes. It was terrifying. And there's just so many references and people were screaming out. I made a few screams in that like scream outs during the movie, but it was a really good time. No one really paid attention and I didn't really give a crap about the plot, but I know all the quotes and everything.
Exactly. And
Is
that's
there even a plot?
No.
Like,
well, we're gonna get into that. We'll get into
well,
that.
that's the reason why we're here. We're
Yeah,
supposed
that's
to
the reason
talk
we're
about
here
Yeah.
to get into the plot of the cult classic, The Room. Let's get to it.
so The Room stars, directed by, written by
Holy Trinity.
Holy
Tommy
Holy
Wiseau.
Trinity.
Tommy Wiseau.
Our God, Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, hi.
And then, it's also kind of co-produced or co-written with Greg Sestero,
Sestero,
who
yeah.
wrote the book Disaster Artist, which got made into the movie starring James
Which
Franco.
we'll get to after The Room. So, John, we're gonna let you do the honors to start off with this movie.
Oh my God. So where do we start?
Where do we start? Well, we start at the beginning with Denny. He just likes to watch.
Oh, we're going right into it.
Yeah,
okay.
we're going right
so
into
after, you know, 2 title cards, a bunch of establishing shots that don't do anything.
A lot of San Francisco shots.
A lot of San Francisco of, you know, the same house from Full House about 3 times. And so we're immediately just brought right into, hey, this is Johnny, who is Tommy's character. This is his wife Lisa. He bought her like
girlfriend, fiance.
future wife. because
Future.
he
Oh,
does not-
shit.
That's
Your
right.
future wife.
That's a whole thing in and of
All
itself.
right, yeah, while we're talking about that, let's talk about that. So, yeah, he's from what? Romania, we found
Poland,
out?
I think they said.
Somewhere in Europe.
Somewhere in like some Europe. He ended up going to France after he was in his born country, wherever it was, and must have had like some kind of experience there that was not very good.
So this is brought up in The Disaster Artist, which we'll get more into, but apparently Greg says the reason why everyone refers to Lisa as future wife was because apparently Tommy was in France or Paris or wherever, got the shit kicked out of him by cops, and now he has like PTSD, so that he can't say any French words. Like no one can say anything French related on set, and
So
he would like
fiancé-
lose his
Wait,
mind.
so like he can't even eat like French fries?
I don't know.
Or, like-
I don't know.
French fries
That guy
aren't
don't
French.
eat French fries. You see that guy? He's not eating French fries.
It's like, is that person French? Get out!
I want
of here.
American hamburger.
hamburger.
Exactly.
Sacre bleu.
That explains so much.
He's like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly.
Vietnam flashbacks flashing in his head.
That's probably what was going on.
Just French music.
So in the movie, right off the rip, like he buys her a dress. We're just supposed to know who these characters are, what their relationship is. There's no intros whatsoever.
setup.
No
No-
setup. Nothing. It just cuts.
It drops you right into the
It does.
plot. That's
It
what I
cu-
love about
just
it.
cuts to
It's so
Lisa.
energetic.
It just cuts to Lisa in the living room, and then Tommy's like, "Oh hey,
Hello, my future wife.
I bought you a dress."
This is low key
Tommy,
turning
it's
into a
beautiful.
Borat.
Yeah, great line reads. I think
She
the best
sounds
ones.
so tired in that movie. She's
Well,
it's
Tommy, like again behind the scenes stuff. Tommy was like torturing these people.
I can
Like,
imagine.
he was probably just like, I just want to go.
Wait, was
home.
it true that there was like they didn't put like any water? Like there was no water.
well, that was according to the disaster artist. I mean,
Okay.
it probably is, but like, who knows?
you must be dehydrated for set. Like,
Exactly. So he has her get a dress, and then out of nowhere, this like kid just walks into the apartment, who we know is Denny. Which
Denny.
anytime Denny comes in, the scene's gonna be great.
Yeah.
That guy's a wacko. But so they're like basically saying, "Hey, Denny, get out. We're gonna have sex." So they go upstairs, and Denny's like, "All right," and he goes up the stairs.
I like to watch.
just like to watch.
I would
guys.
just like to watch.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
Little horny boy.
Dude, he's a creep.
This boy's
bro.
supposed to be what, 10, 12?
No, I think
Well,
he's,
no,
I think he's supposed to be like
actually.
16, 18.
Is he like
I think they
28
said-
at the time?
Yeah, he was like,
He's older.
Super old.
yeah, but like I think they said that he was like 18 because they mentioned like he was
Yeah.
going to go to Tommy's
Yes.
paying for his tuition or whatever,
Yeah.
or Johnny's paying for his
He's like,
tuition.
I'm pretty sure he saw like Oliver on like, he's just like, I want to take care of these,
know.
like these kids on the streets and the
They just he
pickpockets.
wanted to like have a save the cat moment without saving the cat. He's like, yeah, no, this kid, I pay for this kid's apartment and his college. It's like,
There's a whole movie
there's
before
a
it.
whole movie before it.
That would be amazing as a prequel. Like, it's
Oh, dude, he
What happened to Danny's parents?
It's like, yeah.
So of course Denny leaves, and now we get to the
first
first
sex
sex scene. Which, to be fair, let's just paint a picture here. If you're introducing this movie to someone, it is very hard because there's probably 10 minutes of actual just straight up sex scenes within the first 10 minutes of the fucking
drags.
Bro,
It
it's so
drags.
slow. It is so slow.
It's intimate.
No, it's not. It's weird.
Sweet, subtle belly
You
button
gotta aim
sex.
for the belly button.
Yeah, so-
you gotta aim for the
so
belly
for-
button.
Well, that's
Yeah.
where the baby comes from, right?
Yes,
That's where it has to go.
This is why Chris is confused about sex.
So it is so,
Never been the same.
The scene is so weird. It is so slow. Tommy is like so high. He's practically, his hips are like practically at her shoulders. It is just,
It's
it is so uncomfortable.
And then there's this random waterfall that we found. It was
The
like
waterfall.
The
Yeah.
waterfall. We first thought it was raining, and we're like,
Like,
oh
wait,
no, that's
how'd that happen?
We're like, oh no, it's a set piece.
It's a fucking set piece. It's like a little, yeah.
So there's probably in total? There's maybe, I think we counted.
5.
There's 5 sex scenes,
Within 30
3 of
minutes.
which are within the first 30 minutes, and they last a while. I think
At least
most,
3 to
what was
4
the
minutes,
stat?
average.
We looked it up. It was like,
Oh,
it was-
yeah,
of the total percentage of the movie, 10% of the movie is just
Yeah, 10% of the
awkward
movie-
sex scenes.
Yeah.
And
I
they
think
use-
Just keeps going on and on
10%
and
of the
on.
total
Pretty
runtime.
much.
Yeah.
Oh man,
crazy.
No,
Well,
it's crazy.
wasn't like in terms of
But
just
our boy Tommy, he be jacked. He's kind of, he's kind of fucking.
Yeah, no one talks about that. So Tommy is shirtless in the next scene because he demanded that they get his butt in the movie. So for no random reason, he just gets up and like goes to the bathroom, and it's
He-
just a long shot.
He has to show his ass, or the movie won't sell.
It's a
That is
metaphor.
the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's
no.
a metaphor.
But my man had like a 6-pack. I'm like, yo, how is he cut like this? I'm like, what is he doing? Luckily, again, that shot of his ass, like no one wanted to see that. It was very disturbing. Then it just cuts to another scene, and there's no connecting.
There's no, yeah. This is his first script. He didn't do any homework.
No homework.
just-
He would just put establishing shot and then be like, okay, next scene. Establishing, like, no
He saw
connecting.
one tutorial. Like,
It's essentially just a bunch of clips put together that he just did together.
So then Lisa's mom comes over.
Yes, this gold digging bitch.
have
Oh my God. Can we talk about this bitch for a minute?
The first thing Lisa asks, "Oh, do you want some coffee?" And she's like, "What's wrong?" Or "What's wrong?" Like, what are that? Like, what? She's asking you why coffee, bro. Like, and she's like, "What's wrong?" What?
Throughout the entire movie, her theme is you need to be with Johnny because he has money. So it's literally like, oh, you know, I don't love him, but he has a job. Oh, and later in the movie, she makes up a story about how he beats her, and she's like, but did he get the promotion? Like, I don't.
She don't care.
She does not care. She's like, he buys your apartment, he pays your bills, he's getting a promotion, and she's like, Mom, I don't love him, but he pays your bills. It's like, whoa, lady, come on, priorities.
Oh God.
Your
Yeah.
father did it too. Like,
Yo, but that's the best part. At one point, they cut to a scene where she's like talking about like, oh, you know, how dare this guy say like he's gonna take this house? He's not seeing a pension. He's like, who does he think he is? And Lisa goes, he's your brother. Like, there's some random scene about how she's having like a squabble over a house, and she's not letting her brother get a single penny of the house. It's hilarious.
there's so much random shit. I mean, like you could break into like how like this movie just violates pretty much every filmmaking rule ever. But it's
Oh,
like the number one is just like everything should have a reason, a purpose.
Yeah, and-
It's like so much shit. Like even with the mom, like it's like, well, I have cancer. Okay,
no,
that
no,
goes
I
don't have
nowhere.
cancer.
No, no.
I
It's never brought up
definitely have
again.
breast
Yeah,
cancer.
the test results came back, and I definitely have breast cancer. And then Lisa's
It
like,
never comes back
Lisa's
up.
like, you don't have breast cancer. Never comes back, doesn't come up once ever again.
Just throwing it
Just
in there.
throwing it in there.
It's like
Willy nilly.
Like, you have this whole backstory with Denny. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
I think my theory is when Tommy was writing this, he was like, oh, this could be a cool scene, or oh, this could be a cool scene. And then he didn't think of like
How we get
real ways to put it in the movie. He was just like, I'm just going to put all these scenes in, and then I'm going to just figure out how to loosely connect them all later.
I sometimes think he's just like, he watched way too many soap operas, and then he's just like, just add plot after plot after
American
plot.
soap opera,
American soap opera. It's the best.
The next big scene is when she tries coming on to Mark, I'd say.
The amount of times Mark is like, what's going on here?
So what's going on? It's like a porno. It's
Like,
like,
it's a
whoa.
really bad porno.
My man sleeps with her like 3 times, and every time he's like, whoa, what's going on?
The best I think was the spiral staircase sex scene.
No, it's just a makeout scene. They're not even having sex.
I think they're implying
They're
they had
implying
sex.
it, but
there was no
the-
thrusting or whatever,
Yeah.
but the classic pan off to the left.
We
makes
saw
it-
his pants on the whole time.
So at that
Magician, he can make it work.
Make it work.
close sex is a
it can
thing.
work,
Yeah,
but
close
like,
sex is a- my thing is like spiral staircase cannot be comfortable.
So no, see that's where I get to. So when I was
You're going,
at
like,
this
up the
viewing
stairs, like-
party,
yeah, you're in.
so when I was at this viewing party thing at the movie theater, people were screaming out. So I said, "That's how you get scoliosis," and everyone laughed at it. I'm just like, how uncomfortable must that be?
Right,
to do
like
that?
you can either go up 5 steps and go on a bed, or go down 5 steps and just stay on the couch where you were at. I don't. Why the
It's more dramatic.
No, it's not. It is uncomfortable.
It's the spiral staircase is an allegory for the entwined love, like of the triangle relationship.
And I love how like later Mark is like, oh, like this is all your fault, Lisa. I had nothing to do with it. It's like, buddy, you took your pants off. What do you can't plead plausible deniability in this
He's
situation.
so mixed because like one scene he's like I love you, and then the next second it's like, but I'm Johnny's best friend.
There's like no lead up to it either.
No,
It's just,
not even.
Want to have sex? All right.
Yeah, there's no lead up.
They're
One
just
minute
doing
he'll
it.
be about it, the next minute he won't be about it. Like Tommy just fucking did whatever he wanted in this script and didn't care.
He's just
whatsoever.
totally confused. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
here?
Wow,
What's going on?
Bathtub
Whoa,
porno.
you called me over. Now you're taking my shirt off.
Whoa.
What's going on here? Wait a minute.
Whoa, okay, I'm just gonna lay back and chill.
While we're talking about sex scenes, so there are so many recycled shots in the scene of Tommy
Yes.
or Johnny and Lisa.
Yeah,
It's just like
so they only wanted to. Well, it was in the script for one, but then Tommy was being Tommy. He's like, no, we must do more. And then the actress was like, No.
No.
So they just literally.
I mean, yeah, you
reused-
made fun of her fucking acne right here.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
He was a monster behind the scene. But so
absolute
they
dickhead.
basically just reused the shots from the first sex scene and then like played them in reverse and cut them in. It's literally the same scenes. So it's just 2 sex scenes with the exact same movements. It's wild.
maybe reversed.
Reversed.
Ooh.
Yeah, some were reversed. Like some shot would be here. It was all over.
We need to mirror it to make sure it's in the other direction, so
my
the sex scene is different.
That's literally what he would do. He's like, no, we must make out for a long time for the shot to be perfect.
God.
And even the actor was like, no.
No, we don't.
I'm all set, thanks. But like, we also have a scene where 2 random people just walk into his apartment. And they start.
Oh, yeah.
Again, no introduction whatsoever. They're like, you should know who these people are. So 2 people just walk into this apartment, start eating chocolates, and then the dude gets blown. You don't know who they are. They
Oh
just-
yeah, wasn't the guy like? Did you know chocolate is the food of love or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, It
And
was
his
just like
face, his face, he was like,
it's
Yeah.
the most
His eyes
awkward.
crawl.
Oh, yeah.
It's the most like awkward, like it's like the most awkward flirting. It's just like
It's
some
great.
chocolate, and they go, "Oh, cross-eyed moment, wowza!" Like,
Awooga.
yeah.
But again,
like, what was his direction for that? It's like, all right, you are a
there was
cartoon
none.
character.
There was none. You walk into an apartment that's not yours and you have sex. No, does
She
not make
has
sense
just
whatsoever.
like arms up like a toddler.
She just takes his shirt off.
Whoa! That's a really good-
Hands to the sky.
Exactly like that. But it just again, no idea who they are. Don't know why they're in someone else's apartment just to have sex and then they leave. How many people just walk into this apartment? She's like, does anyone else just not live?
That's another big point in this movie. How many times they literally left the door open? I am not surprised how nobody has broken in and stole half the stuff. Because every single time there's a scene, somebody leaves the door open, never closes it, or it's just always unlocked.
It's always unlocked. People just walk around.
Tommy Wiseau, you know what? Like
They're
you
the
said,
hangout place. They're the hangout apartment.
You know the way I look at it is that he's helping whatever the younger kid's name is. He's probably like, I want to open my door and let everybody in and have
Yeah,
sex
that's
in
it.
my apartment. Is that special?
Yeah. Ugh.
My apartment's the sex apartment.
It's just it's just an orgy apartment.
It pretty much is. So, and then again, more establishing shots for no reason. And then we cut to probably the most famous scene that everyone knows. And
Well,
that's
that we know for sure.
I'm pretty sure that's the scene everyone knows the most is the flower shop scene.
It's so like the
I
way
don't-
that it's cut.
Oh my
like
God,
the
it's
audio
hilarious.
is just like you just can totally tell it's ADR
Yep.
taken
Oh,
from
it's a lot of
different
that in this movie.
Yeah.
different takes that like probably had nothing to do with each other. It's just like you're my favorite customer. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Hi, doggy.
Hi, dog.
Hi, Dougie. It's like in the middle of like yeah. Like,
It's just, it's so jarring because he walks in. First thing she says, it's like, "Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it's you."
you're my favorite customer.
Who walks into that store that
Looking
you
like
don't,
that.
that looks like that? Nobody looks like this
Looks
guy.
like a fucking school
Who
shooter.
the fuck's wearing sunglasses with a full
Sunglasses,
suit?
a full suit, with
Three
a
belts.
Yeah, 3 belts.
Straight out of
long-
Goodfellas.
I always tell people, they're like, who's Tommy Wiseau? I'm like, imagine Fabio if he got hit by a
If he
truck.
was gothic.
No, he got hit by a truck.
Yeah, that's true.
Goth
He's
Fabio?
kind of got that, like,
He
like
has
his one
something.
eye.
I
Yeah,
forget
he
what
has
it's
something
called,
up.
but
I don't want to be
it's definitely
mean, but that's how I can
I
describe
don't want to mean
him.
as we're making
He's got
fun
that
of his
lazy
fucking
eye.
movie.
That's like a statement that he does it something
Yeah,
wrong.
Yeah, but you want to make fun of his art, not his physical appearance. But
I'll do both.
He's a weird looking dude, bro.
He was a weird guy. He was an asshole.
He's
behind
still
it.
alive. You make it sound like he died.
Hey, you don't know. But so
Tommy was
We don't know how old he
clone.
is. That's for sure.
There are
that is true.
multiples of
Nobody knows
he's.
how old
He's
he
at
is.
least. I mean, well, when Disaster Artist came out, because he
probably
did
in his
that. There was that whole thing with
mid-40s, I'd say.
James Franco didn't let him talk on the thing, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, right.
But he looked like fucking. He looked in rough shape.
He looks. I mean, I
probably
think he
in
was
his
in
60s.
Europe during like the. No, I don't think Cold War. 'cause I
Yeah, no,
didn't
he
see
was.
it.
No, he supposedly.
He was
So
probably like a kid. I
he
think.
was like born. Yeah, he was definitely born in like a Soviet bloc country at the time.
in the room, and that was 2003. He looked like he was like
40s.
30, 40.
No, I'd say like
No, I say
mid-40s.
early 40s.
Early mid 40s.
I think he's a vampire. I'll say it. I'll say it.
All right,
vampire?
all right.
Polish
listen,
vampire.
I mean,
that's a theory.
Romania.
That's a theory
I
out
mean,
there. So,
He looks a little bit like Ronnie Radke.
yeah, that's true.
not really at all.
But so back to this flower shop scene. So after the hey, I didn't know it's you, just randomly that's me.
That's me.
Oh
Just
my God.
no, the lines don't match up. And then she goes like, he goes, how much? Before she can even say the price, he goes, keep the change.
That'll be $15. You're my favorite
You're
customer.
my favorite customer. It's like, but if he's the favorite customer, how do you not
You're
recognize
like breaking
him?
this down. Like
I am, because that's literally what we did. We saw this scene first, and we would just rewatch it and be like, what is going on?
Also, the fact that that scene is probably like what, 12 seconds, maybe 15
Of just
seconds.
pure chaos.
Yeah, it's like how do you make so much confusion in the span of like 15 to 20 seconds in a scene? And it's just like,
It's wild.
yeah, and the
It
fact
is
it always
wild.
makes me believe that they were like, the store's really busy. Can you like do a quick shot and leave? How many takes do you think they did?
I think they probably just did one.
I think they did.
I think they just did one. They're like, we gotta go, and they just left.
Probably.
yeah, they bought all the film and the digital camera. That's my favorite part of the whole thing.
Oh my god, I have a theory
Oh, yeah,
about
'cause
that.
he did both. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you know, I'm just saying, Christopher Nolan did it after The Room. I'm just saying, I'm just saying.
it's all connected.
Well, at the same time on the same rig.
Well, no, fucking Nolan.
Then
would
he
do
bought the
Nolan would
cameras.
do the 2 cameras for like IMAX and regular. I'm just saying, Tommy, HD film. I'm just saying, maybe someone took a little bit of
With
inspiration.
Calling him a
money-
visionary, and it's not
with the money
warranted.
Tommy had,
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
With the money Tommy had,
don't
I
know.
wouldn't be surprised if he made The Room in IMAX.
What? Okay,
I
what?
would watch that.
What's
yeah.
the theory? I remember hearing one theory that he's DB Cooper.
I have never heard that.
Yeah, I don't know. He would have been like, maybe.
No,
I don't
no,
know.
no.
I don't think DB had that much
DB
money.
was in the 70s.
The movie, he pretty much
No
funded
way.
a $6 million movie.
Yeah,
I don't think
$6
DB Cooper made $6 million.
no, he didn't.
I
But
think he has mafia connections. That's my only
Well,
thought.
we talked about real estate, right? Like he did some weird real estate shit to get his money.
Again, this is all in the Disaster Artist. Like
Yeah.
Greg theorizes that like he was part of like money laundering, like
Yeah, that's what I'm
Ozark
thinking.
Like
style
the book,
kind of
not the
deal.
movie.
Not the in the book, but he's like because again, the big 3 things that no one knows about Tommy, which makes him the big mystery that he is nobody knows how old he is, nobody knows where he came from, and nobody knows how he has this like seemingly
Bottomless
endless,
pit.
this endless fund of money. So like people will theorize, some people joke and say he's a vampire. Greg legit thinks he's part of like money laundering, like definitely like part of witness protection. He's like, this guy, someone's gonna die.
like it's just so crazy because how could somebody so like out of touch is the nice way of putting it with like everybody else? Like how does he get this much money?
Exactly.
So my theory about it is I still think he's got some money laundering or mafia, but maybe he was so annoying when he was in the mafia, they all went, just take all this money and get the hell
Like
out
the
of
reverse Bobby Yaga.
Yeah, just like, go into witness protection. He's probably got some Slavic name. They're like, what kind of name you want to be? He's like, I want to be called Tommy. And they're like,
I want the American name.
I want
Call me
American name.
Tommy.
Tommy.
His 2 picks were Tommy or Johnny. And he uses both of them.
Oh man. So I think I'm
The
trying to
next-
think what the order is. Is the order the drug deal scene? Because
Oh yeah, we can talk about the best scene in the movie.
goes all
The
over
best
the
scene
place.
in the movie. Let's talk about that.
Oh my god, this scene is so underappreciated. It usually goes flower scene and then rooftop scene. This scene is the best scene in my opinion of the movie.
Give me
It
the
is
fucking money, Denny.
So first off, best actor in the entire movie is some random drug dealer called Chris R. Specifically Chris R. Not
Chris R.
Chris,
Chris
just
R.
Chris R. And he starts screaming at Denny for money about drugs. That Denny's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So he pulls out a gun, which, oh my god, a horrible prop. Like it's.
you were
like a
talking
silver
about this,
Beretta.
yeah.
It wasn't even a Beretta. It was like a silver Glock, but then like the ejector port was like filled in. It had like weird engravings, and then like it wasn't even close to the gun that Tommy had at the end of the movie.
Yeah, no,
which
completely
we're
different.
not going to spoiler yet. But
Yeah, we're not there yet.
we're not there yet. So there's drug dealers screaming at him. So next thing you know, you see Lisa and what's the mother's name?
Oh shit.
Well, you see Lisa and her mom immediately just at the top of the roof, like, "Oh my god, what's
Where'd they
going
come
on?"
from?
So now they're all screaming at each other, and then immediately, again, just appear out of nowhere. Tommy and Mark are right there, and they're like, "Oh, let's take him to jail." so they grab the drug dealer. They just walk off scene. You know, again. Dude just pointed a gun out. We're just gonna walk out together. So then Lisa's like yelling, like, "What'd you need the money for?" No build up whatsoever.
She's just meeting this kid for like
Yeah,
second time.
Lisa's mother is going in on Denny.
Like,
He's like,
You're not my fucking mother.
yeah, he's like, who are you? They're just screaming at each other. So finally, during this whole scream match, Tommy just appears out of nowhere. Like, oh, I guess he's back.
he walks in. No, he walks in.
He walks into frame, which again, you figure if you're
Okay.
going to the prison, if you're going to the jail with the cop or whatever, you'd be gone for longer,
Yeah.
not 5
Gotta file a
seconds.
report,
Yeah,
yeah.
file a report. Give them the gun, explain everything that happened, all this good stuff, and then you're like, oh, cool. Like now Tommy's in the mix and they're screaming all, if only Mark was here, and they literally cut. They don't even cut. They just pan over to the
No,
mother.
no, they cut.
They cut to another shot of the mother, and Mark is just there, just
Right
standing
next to her.
over.
Like,
He is a vampire. He just magically appeared.
You're like, oh my god, where's Mark? Oh my god, Mark's right there. Like just immediately appeared. He's like, I've been here the whole time. And, it is so good. It is.
Oh yeah, didn't he's like, it's okay. It's like, and like he's like crying, and then he's like holding him caressingly. He's like, it's okay. It's like everything will be fine. Like after the whole
and then
ordeal.
again, never brought up again. Never brought up about the drug dealer. Hey, Denny, what drugs are you taking? Just never brought up whatsoever.
It's just
again.
drugs.
It was
There's
just it was just drug deal scene.
Yeah.
I'd
That's
love
it.
to
you
see
gotta get
like
a little bit of everything in this movie.
I'd love to see like if like he got like a TV show, if like he like these are like little bits from like that TV show, like every different scene is a different scene from a plot.
It
in-
probably
in
is.
an
He's probably
episode.
just watching TV, and he was like, "Oh, that'd be a good scene for a movie." And then writes it down, and then he just has like a bunch of post-it notes.
My
and he
movie
goes,
will be everything.
No, the Wiseau-averse.
Why so?
I think these are all glimpses of different.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty funny. So
Yeah.
Lisa and the mother are just talking. Hey, Johnny has all this money. Johnny this, Johnny that, Johnny all this financials. And then again, these two just walk in, and Lisa's like, "Oh, hey, they come and hang out sometimes." And the mother's like, "Who are you?" They're like, oh, we just walked in, but we gotta go. And they try to walk out, and then the guy's like, oh shit, I left my underwear in the apartment. So he proceeds to like reach for the underwear, and and the mother's like, what are these? And he's like,
Underwear?
Yeah, he's like, and he panics and he runs out, and she's like, does anyone else just live here? And then Denny comes in again, which again, yay, Denny. And he's like, oh, I need some stuff to cook. I need some butter. I need a spatula. I need some
Everything.
He needs everything. And the grandmother's like, does your apartment just not have a kitchen? She's just roasting the shit out of this kid. I think she's improvising all these lines because they're the only logical lines in the movie.
And then it's Oh Hi Mark.
Oh yes,
That did not hit
scene.
her.
the legendary scene.
It's
So
not true.
a random B plot that was going through this whole movie was like Lisa's creating all these stories about how she doesn't love Johnny anymore, so she'll be like, "Oh, he's hitting me." Again, doesn't make any sense because
I feel like that's the A plot. I don't think that's the B plot.
there's 14 different plots
Yeah.
going on. None of them are in some sort of priority order for this guy.
You only believe in 14 plots? I think there's like 50 or something.
Probably.
Maybe 100.
I'll lowball it just to be sure. But so again, 1 minute she'll be like, "Oh, I love him," but then the next minute she's like, "I'm going to try to just make up all these random stories to ruin his life." So one of them was, "Oh, he got drunk and he hit me." I think that was probably around like the second or third sex scene. You lose
Yeah,
track
it's like
after
in the
a
middle
while.
of it. Like,
Just
he
in the
hits
middle.
me.
So again, no one approaches Johnny's or the character of Johnny accusing him, saying, "Hey, Lisa's saying XYZ, is that true?" That doesn't happen. We just have this random scene of Johnny on the rooftop,
Yeah, nobody-
apparently being already told that, hey, you hit your wife or whatever. So he just gets on the rooftop and he starts screaming. He just starts bugging the fuck
You
out.
call that screaming?
I did not hit her.
I did not hit her. It's
not true.
bullshit. It's not true.
I did not
hit her.
Oh Hi.
I did.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi Johnny, playing with a football.
Yeah, playing with a football. Like,
On the roof,
Hanging out.
like any San Francisco
Yep.
local
Yep.
would.
Yep.
So we
The
were
sketched on Nike symbol.
yes,
We were
clearly like
talking
Sharpied
about-
over Nike. They
And
don't want
let's
it.
not forget the scene where Mark was talking about some guy got beat up so
That's the
hard.
same scene.
Yeah.
That's the same scene. So again, for some random reason, Mark is now.
No, I'm prepping it. Yeah.
So again, Mark now randomly is just having like, I don't know if I should be doing this. Again, one of the many different character arcs Tommy gives this character. And at one point he's like, yeah, man, like girls are crazy. I knew this one girl that slept with like 15 different guys. One dude found out, beat her so bad she went to the hospital. And Tommy's response is,
You're so funny, Mark.
funny
a
story,
brutal
Mark.
story about how a woman gets beat up, and Tommy's like, that is amazing. Say it again.
The part that confuses me is that doesn't that heighten the suspicion that he beat his wife? Because it's just like, he beat
it
women.
so funny?
He's funny.
So funny, Mark.
Pretty true.
It's so true.
Oh my god. Like,
You watched too many movies from the 50s.
maybe I don't know. But then you had this one guy like Peter who randomly shows up. But then, like, he changes characters because the actor just left in the middle of the
It's
production.
Steve.
Yeah, it turns to Steve, but it's the same character. It's like, it doesn't make
Changed
Was
sense.
he
Name.
a lawyer or a therapist?
He was the.
Well, that's the thing. So they changed it. So,
I never even knew.
so you have the one guy, Peter, who, again, is just a random friend who we were supposed to know. And there's another rooftop scene where Peter, like, goes up to Mark and was like, hey, you're sleeping with Lisa, right? And then Mark, who is just smoking a doobie, immediately was like, what you say? And just grabs him and puts him over a rooftop.
Don't do drugs, kids.
So Mark is like trying to kill this guy. He gets up. He like, he's
what
like,
are you doing?
He's like, oh, hey man, I'm sorry. And
He's like, okay.
and Peter, who's the therapist, is like, well, let's just talk about your feelings. And you're like, what? Like, you almost died and you want to talk to this guy?
Hey, listen, life or death situation, you can get a client out of it. You know?
Yes. And then, so like later in the movie, that same character switches because the actor leaves. So then, as a way to remedy it, they create a new character who apparently has just been here the whole time because he's talking to everyone like he knows what's been going on. His name is Steve, and he's a lawyer, but it's supposed to be the same guy.
Yep.
I never knew that.
So it's like, okay,
Well,
so
because we were watching it and like, because there's like a birthday scene and this random guy's at the birthday, but they're giving him a lot of camera time and he starts accusing Lisa, like, oh, you can't be doing this. This is going to ruin Johnny's life, da da da. And we're like, who the fuck is that guy? And then we looked it up and it's supposed to be the same character as before. The guy just left, so they just sort of had to come up with some
They
random
should have
shit.
did like the mustache where they just switch a mustache. You're like, I'm the therapist.
exactly.
I'm the lawyer.
I clearly have glasses. I'm a different person.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
Oh my God.
The inside football scene where they're throwing the football inside. How does that move the plot forward? How does that move the
Well, it
plot
doesn't,
forward
though.
It does
at all?
Yeah. Oh, first off,
is an
Mark needs to be part of the
anti-movie.
NFL. Can we talk about that real quick?
He knows. Yeah, he can tackle.
Dude, he can tackle. So they're throwing a football again inside, maybe 3 feet apart, between 4 people. So at one point, I don't even know how it happened. Mark tries to grab the dude that was
Yeah,
getting
Peter.
the blowy in the apartment.
Oh yeah, no, that dude,
Yeah,
right?
he tries to tackle him. This guy goes flying back into like a bunch of garbage cans. He gets up and he's just like dazed. I'm like, Mark just single-handedly gave this guy CTE. I'm like, draft him right now.
Apparently, the reason that happened is because the guy was like offset for a while and he broke his arm, so they had to figure out how to get a cast in
What?
at the end of the movie.
What is happening?
Yeah,
How does
so
this-
that's how they got around that.
Oh my
I'm
God.
surprised they thought of that.
It looks like after he. Is that the one where they're in the suits? They're like playing football in the.
No, that's a different.
Oh, that's a different one.
different
Okay, I'm thinking
football
of
No,
something
the
scene.
scene at the end. He shows up again at the end and he has a cast.
Oh, he has a
on.
cast. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's several football scenes. One where, again, they bring Peter and they're
several
wearing their suits
For what occasion?
Wait, yeah,
Nobody knows.
Isn't that the one where like like the when he like falls down?
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
like it's all like it's a moment and it's like
This is the last
doesn't
time we
mean
see that
anything.
guy.
Doesn't mean anything.
He died. He died after
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Just a great pratfall. And he's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I'm done." And he,
Well, they like pick him up like he's gonna take it. Oh yeah.
yes, yeah. Hey,
you
let's
chicken?
Hey, I don't want to
Cheap,
play.
cheap.
Peter's like, I don't want to play football in this tuxedo. So the other 3 guys are like, cheap. It's so.
Well, it first started with Tommy, where he's like, "Why you chicken?" Chip, 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 chip.
all just
And
have to
everyone
join
else,
in.
all,
does that
they're like,
mean?
no, they probably all went. Guess I'm doing it too. Chip,
Well,
chip,
yeah,
chip,
because like, so you know how like you ever watch or like listen to like foreign subtitle movies, and then like,
Yeah.
or like foreign audio when they just say something that's like completely like incorrect
Yeah.
from what you
Right,
guys,
yeah,
what you
yeah,
know it to
always.
be. Yeah, sort of like that kind of thing. I think because like Tommy, he came from Romania.
Well, somewhere else.
I heard Poland.
Poland, Romania,
Different language
Transylvania.
either way,
I've heard
so.
everything.
Somewhere in the block country, as you said, probably.
Yeah, somewhere in the Soviet
Pennsylvania.
That's what I said.
bloc. Pennsylvania.
He worked at Dunder Mifflin. That's where he is all this money from.
He's
I
Creed.
live in the storage unit at Dunder
He's
Mifflin.
Creed.
Dude, he's Creed.
Yes. No theory, Creed.
At this point, I think Johnny has figured out that he starts recording at this point
Yes.
somewhere around here.
Such an
'Cause he has-
intricate. It's
yeah.
such an intricate scene. How like in that entire scene, he's like intricately putting the and then this is a 2003, so there were still cassette tapes, like intricately like putting it all together like super nicely, and then he just like puts like didn't he put like paper on top of it to hide it? Yeah, like literally, like I'm pretty sure someone could easily figure it out at some point.
Even the reveal of that made no sense. So we fast forward to, oh hey, we have a birthday party, to pretty much where Johnny and Mark fight because Mark just straight up says, "Hey, I'm sleeping with your wife." Yeah. he's like, because again, random like character switch. 1 minute he's best friends, the next minute he's like, "Man, you're an idiot. I'm sleeping with your girl."
Yeah.
So they get into a fight at the birthday, whatever. So like supposedly, I guess later that night or whatever, Tommy locks himself in the bathroom. Lisa's like, gets on the phone, calls Mark, and Mark is like, "Yeah, come over." Da 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 da. So Tommy comes out of the bathroom and he's like, "Oh, who was that on the phone?" She goes, "Oh, nobody." He goes, again, the bathroom's right here. My man can hear the entire conversation. So he's like, "Oh, we'll see about that." And it's a big aha moment where he takes the cassette out and just replays the recorded phone conversation. It's like, but Mark already came out in the last scene saying that he's sleeping with your girl.
Yeah, so
and
like,
she
he
was
already
just on the
knows.
phone. Like, everyone
it's not
knows.
like, oh, you caught me. No,
Yeah, there's no "you caught me" moment. We knew. They just straight out said that they did it.
You guys forgot like the best quote of that, where like it's Tommy like locked himself in the bathroom for like the whole entire night, and then Lisa walks over, is knocking on the door, and she's like, "Come out." And he's like, "In a second, bitch."
Yes.
Like, and the funny part is like the shot is perfectly like it's the back of his head is facing the door, and it's just like this perfect shot of him. He's like, "In a second, bitch."
His swearing is amazing. So when,
when
he gets into the fight with Mark, he says like
Do you
something.
even call it a fight? It's just like they're like
they just
lightly
grab each other's arms and they're just shimmying
it's
back
like
and forth.
It's like they're dancing.
But at one point, he goes to Mark. He goes like, "Fuck you, you motherfucker."
Oh yeah, fuck you motherfucker.
Dude's never swearing in his life. It's so jarring. And then, so
at one point they meet up at a diner for drinks, and
oh
we
my
literally
God.
see them walk
Again,
up,
a random
order
scene
the
that
drinks.
has nothing to do with anything going on whatsoever.
They could have just had that scene literally with them at the table, as I said last night on Friday night. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are they just? You don't show them walking from point A to point B. It's like one of the very first rules you learn in filmmaking.
I mean, considering
Like-
how he just does random scenes constantly. Like,
Anyway, how was your sex life?
yeah, anyway, how's your sex life? What? Like, hey, you guys want food? No, we're good. Well, hey, you guys are ordering coffee. You guys want cheesecake?
You guys forgot the one. He's like, "Come on, let's go eat Han." There's like a random scene where they're like, "Let's go eat Han." Like, what's Han? Is that some Slavic meal? We're having Han tonight.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
No, there's so many scenes. We could spend hours just talking.
I know we
about it.
can't really go in the direction of the movie
No, because there was no direction in the
yeah.
movie. It was just a scene, then another scene, then another scene.
Well,
And then
let's
he
get
commits
back to
suicide
the
at
end
the
where
end.
we were. So
Right. So
he's
Lisa
like
leaves.
Yeah, Lisa leaves. He's freaking out. He's destroying everything. You know,
Pulling the drawers out.
in-
Pulling drawers out, just
Fuck it.
just yelling.
fucking the dress.
He finds the dress and just starts dry humping it.
No. He first is like rubbing it against his face, like seductively, and then he's like, I love it. We'll get into that with the disaster
Yes,
artist. It's
yes.
like,
Oh
I
my-
wanted to keep that dress.
Oh my god, it's
little dirty
it makes
now.
No sense. So he finds this little. He pulls out this little case and opens it, and it's the gun from the drug dealer. Which why is that not in evidence? Why did you keep that? Makes no sense. Why'd you give it a little case?
I mean, that's one of my theories. So like Johnny, like, you know, if he is involved in money laundering, he's probably the best who's ever done it because he doesn't know how police work. Like, so he's never been caught.
He's never been caught.
He probably
Yeah.
just paid off the police.
Like he doesn't know what a lawyer's job is. He just thinks they're a therapist at the same time.
Exactly.
You're my therapist and my lawyer.
It's like, Johnny, you can't be laundering money. I know, thank therapist. You're a good guy.
Good guy. That's why I got you 2 jobs.
I pay salary here.
I pay salary.
$2 million.
$2 million.
So he pulls the gun out, which again, if you go back and like look at the two props, not even close.
They're
One's a
completely
Glock,
different
one's
ones.
one's like a detailed like a Beretta.
This is the only you would notice.
Silver one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're so. If you look at them, they're just like one. You can tell is a cheap prop because they didn't expect it to like be in the shot, and then the other one they probably splurged a little
Didn't
bit
they
because
have-
it's closer to on the camera. But
They end
they're
up
not.
spray painting it in the like in Disaster. So they have a scene where they're like, yeah, we just like spray paint the shit out of a prop gun.
So maybe that's
I mean,
what
maybe.
happened.
I wouldn't
don't
put
know.
it past them if they just took like an airsoft gun and like didn't take off the orange tip.
I mean, probably. That's probably what they did, and that's why they look so crazily different. So then Tommy, spoiler, he just shoots himself.
With the generic sound of like the
Bang. Yes.
Call of Duty Desert Eagle like ba-doom kind
Yeah.
of noise.
Slumps over.
Slumps over. No, slumps back.
You're right. Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah, slumps back.
Slow-mo.
Yeah, slow mo. And then Lisa and Mark, who we don't know where they went, they just randomly run upstairs. Like, how'd they know?
They heard the gunshot from miles
Yeah, but
away.
she
She left.
miles
Yeah,
away.
she left to his apartment. They just randomly show up, and then again, character switch. Mark's like, "Fuck you, bitch! This is all your fault." He's yelling at Lisa, like, "Oh no, you killed this
Wasn't
guy."
she like, he's dead, we can be together
Yes.
forever?
Yes.
Yeah.
First
She's
she
like,
was
fuck you,
First
bitch,
she
you
was
killed
like,
my best friend.
She was
You
like,
just
"Oh,
break up with him. Like,
yeah, right." Well, she was like, "Is he dead?" It's like, dude's got a bullet in the dome. What do you
Yeah,
think?
there's blood everywhere.
Blood
His
everywhere.
brain is on the. Is he,
Yeah.
is he dead?
Is he dead? I don't know. But then she's like, "Yeah, no, we can be together." And Mark's like, "Fuck you, bitch. This is your fault." It's like, wait a minute. But you also.
You're trying to pull a Scooby Doo on me.
We made love and fucked in the staircase and
We had sex 3 times. It's like, and then Denny again, no idea where he came from. He just runs in. He's like,
Oh my God!
I'm like,
oh my god,
so he runs in and starts. He actually yells Tommy. He doesn't even yell
Yeah, he
Johnny.
yells Tommy.
He yells Tommy. And they just kept it in.
How much you want to bet where he's like, oh my god, he actually did it in a set?
It's so
He like
real.
justifies it. He's like he felt the emotion. That's
That
the
is
important
nice.
part of
When I
scene.
died, when Johnny died, I became Tommy.
Yeah, no. That's exactly. It was, and then that's how the movie ends. They just end with them crying.
abruptly
Just
ends.
no resolution. Just dude dies. They're just crying over his body.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was there at the very end like blood was going over the red dress?
I don't know.
I know there was blood behind his head. I don't know if the red dress was.
Yeah, he's too smart to do that as like an allegory for like matching the blood with the red dress. He's not
Yeah, no,
smart
that
enough
would.
for that. It's like-
Yeah, no.
The
That's
thing about it ending though, like that's just been a thing. Like so, I watched I think American Werewolf in London and Sleepaway
Yeah.
Camp, and after like the end
Yeah,
of
other
like
cult
the
classics.
climax or whatever, it
Ends.
credits.
Yeah,
like
because these are all terrible writers and
Yeah.
they don't know how to, do a good.
like there's
ending.
no like epilogues are kind of standard now. Like, because you always have like the resolution after the
Right.
like Iron Man dies, and you have to get like 20 minutes of a funeral and fucking
exactly.
Yeah.
How a story should be. They're like, nope, done.
That's how they do it.
No,
yeah.
He killed himself. Done.
it's just like that's it, dead, lights out.
Tommy's like,
done.
I'm not in rest of movie,
I
and
rest the movie. The movie cannot exist without me. End of movie.
End of movie. No Tommy, no movie.
good job,
Sorry.
everybody.
Oh, hi, Mark.
All right. Ratings on this movie.
It's a dog shit movie.
Yeah. Well, there has to be 2 ratings, like as an actual movie, but then as like
Entertainment
the
value.
entertainment cult classic value. Because this was probably like my first introduction to like cult classics. Because like then I saw like Leprechaun, Werewolf in London.
Have you seen Troll 2?
Troll 2?
Yeah.
Classic.
Oh my god!
Just a fly on his head.
Me! They're here! They're eating me! Oh my god!
My favorite part is they live in the town of Nilbog.
I haven't seen it. I
It's
just
just it's goblin backwards.
Goblin backwards.
What?
I love
so
how
many-
it's called Trolls 2, but there was never a Trolls 1.
Oh, there's a whole lore behind that. Everything.
Yeah, I've heard it, yeah.
I deep dove into this. So again, this was like my first intro to cult classic, horrible but good movies. So like from an entertainment value, I have to give it a solid like 8.5. But for an actual movie, oh my god, it's like a 2.
All right. Solid 20.
Oh man.
I give it just like So, like, the way I look at it, there's terrible movies that are so frustrating you just can't watch it. Like, both of us know when you guys came to visit me in Pennsylvania, we tried to watch Freddy Got Fingered, and we couldn't even get through 15
We couldn't get through
minutes.
15 minutes of that.
It's such a specific movie made for such a specific audience. I hated it. It's so funny because you're like, oh, this movie's so good. We're like, are you sure?
I think The Room itself is like so crappy. It's like a perfect 10. Like, I kind of see it as its crappy version of Endgame. Like, it's just that big of a movie.
They fumbled it so
But
fucking
as
hard.
Yeah, so I'll give The Room as an actual movie, it's like a 1.
10%. All right. As a cult classic,
Yes.
it's like a solid 87, 88, I'd say. I'll go 88. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. And as a film, it's like a 43.
Wow, that's
So
actually
it's-
Wow,
that-
you're
that
actually
is
you're
high.
being really caring.
43.
I said-
It's still the lowest we've
Like
ever given it.
My judgment is like 50% is like it's technically a movie. I don't think this movie.
It
I don't think it's
lasted long enough.
So it's
like I don't
below
think
a
it's
movie.
technically a movie though, because it's like a movie is connected scenes. Like that's like basic shit.
Yes.
But
This-
he
but
kept
it's-
it in the theater for 2 weeks so it could be Oscar nominated or qualify for the Oscars.
How long-
And he met the movie length of a minimum of like, I think it's 120 is considered a movie length.
All right, Danny, what are you giving it?
30. Entertainment value, I'd say it's like an 80 though, because like you have to get into this. Like you have to be like in the mood to watch it.
You gotta like
So-
fast forward. If you're like showing it to someone, you have to fast forward through that first like 10, 15.
Or you
'Cause
just-
'Cause it's just sexy.
they honestly will be like, are you showing me a porno? What's going on?
Yeah,
right now?"
really.
You have to like prep them ahead of time. Be like, all right, so the first few minutes is gonna be rough. Just stay with me. It's gonna be worth it.
All right. Moving on to The Disaster Artist. This
it was
more
made by
about-
A24, right?
It's made by
Yes.
A24.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
so like
It's-
It's more of like a
it's just a behind the scenes thing.
kind of behind the scenes, but also like how Greg and Tommy met
Yeah.
and how their relationship kind of
Yeah, like
came
the
to
first.
be.
Yes, Stella.
I love that movie. Ah. They go, this is where he died.
He's
'cause,
fearless.
like-
He's fearless.
Yeah.
Tommy is fearless.
Yeah, this you can tell. So the book and the movie are two wildly different things. In the book written by Greg, it's basically Greg's story, and he just talks about how Tommy is this toxic, like manipulative, like monster. Whereas in the movie, Tommy's seen as like not like a visionary, but at least like
Dumbass.
yeah, like a dumbass, or like, oh, you know, he's like following his dream no matter the cost. Like they put him in a way
yeah,
better light
fearless.
in the movie.
He's like eccentric
Thomas.
billionaire.
Pinky, give me pinky, give me pinky,
Give me pinky.
give me pinky.
What are we, 7?
So
Give him the damn pinky.
yeah, like in the book, Greg is just like, this was a guy that I met. Whereas in the movie, they talk like the first act is like, hey, how they met each other. They become really good friends.
So they never had that relationship.
They became friends and they became cordial, but it wasn't like when they went to LA, Greg maybe stayed in that apartment for like a month and then got his own spot.
Yep.
And like
They made it seem like it was a lot.
they made it seem
Yeah,
like they were
years.
like inseparable. Like, and again, in the book, we'll get more into in the movie. The book, he was doing his own thing. Tommy had no plan on putting Mark in the movie until like I think it was like literally day one of filming. He like apparently Greg said that Tommy offered him tons of money to take the Mark role, and it was like a very last minute thing that he took it. Whereas in the movie, it was like it was his plan all along to have Greg in it, which was not accurate whatsoever.
And Mark's name came from Matt Damon,
Yes.
but he thought his name was
What was
Mark
so
Damon.
Matt Damon.
So
Like Tommy thought his name was Mark.
yeah, what was the name? So Tommy took a lot of inspiration from a movie called, what was the name of the movie? Where essentially it was like a friend
I couldn't tell you.
a friend sleeps with his best friend's girl. It's literally, what is
Oh my fucking
I don't
god.
know.
The Talented Mr. Ripley is the name of the
Oh
movie.
my fucking
Yep.
god. Isn't that where Matt Damon's like a serial killer?
He looks like a serial killer from the
Jesus.
article I saw.
Jesus.
I think so, which was also weird because Greg was like, I guess the movie came out and Greg was like, this seems a little familiar. And then apparently Tommy was so like in shock that he like went into like a depression for a while. It is
They stole my art.
pretty much.
And while he was writing The Room, it was originally written as a 600-page novel. 600 pages, first of all, which he turned into a 74-page script for a play.
Mm-hmm.
Then he turned it into a movie because plays were not popular.
Yeah.
Like,
How is there not a play now is the question. I feel like that would be
oh
an amazing
no,
screen.
Of
no,
The
no,
Room?
no,
Yeah.
no,
I'd say it.
He should sell the rights. Like that would be, but he'll never do it because
I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like it would translate well to the cult classic that is that movie.
Well,
to like
yeah.
a
Spoon.
Now they are.
Yeah, but imagine you can get like you throw the spoons literally at the actors.
That's terrible.
Now
It's not like it'll hurt.
Potentially, they are remaking it.
no. That's
Don't remake it. No,
that
it's-
was
you can't
lightning in
do
a
it.
bottle. You
Yeah.
can't catch that moment again. You
Unless
can't
if they actually want to put the money in and actually make it a realistic movie to actually be like, we did
No.
it right.
No, because if you
No.
actually dissect it, it's like okay,
just-
friend. Yeah, friend cheats on friend with, or friend ruins friend's life by cheating with his girl.
Yes.
That's very basic. The only reason that movie did so good was because of how wildly horrible it
Yeah,
was.
of course.
So you can't just be like, hey, we're gonna make The Room but good. It's like then that's just a movie.
Yeah, that's just like a B tier movie that.
I mean,
Exactly.
they announced it. I didn't make the rules.
Yeah, no, I know.
I just work here.
Yeah. Can we talk about how good? First off, can we talk about how star-studded this cast is? You got James Franco as Tommy. You have his brother Dave Franco playing Mark or Greg. I should
Dave's
say.
wife, Allison Brie, as his girlfriend.
Yup. And then you have Bryan Cranston's there for
Yep.
a cameo. You have the guy from what's that crazy dude from The League?
Oh, I don't
the
know.
one who got in trouble for the 9/11 stuff.
No.
What?
No, that's a whole
not.
separate thing.
Steve ran as easy, I think.
No,
too.
the one who plays like.
Oh, Nick Kroll.
Yes,
Yeah.
not Nick Kroll, but Nick Kroll's brother-in-law, the crazy dude. He's Middle Eastern. He was also in John Wick. He played the camera guy.
Played the camera guy.
Okay, I'll look him up.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen plays the other camera guy.
He didn't do the laugh. I'm upset.
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron plays
My
the drug dealer.
favorite part of the whole movie.
What's his face from Andre plays like a director.
Oh, yeah, Eric Andre, yeah.
Yeah, like
Eric Andre.
so many people. It is just full of people that just
Because
it's crazy.
It's like a monument in,
all the cameos in the
like
beginning.
that world.
Yeah,
Like,
that is true. In the beginning, they had like Kristen Bell.
yeah,
They had a bunch.
yeah,
oh yeah, because
The
they're at like the
greatest
pitch
movie. Oh yeah,
meeting.
the beginning
Yes.
part where they're
Yeah.
talking about how amazing the movie.
Yeah, they
was.
kind of like
Yeah.
prime. They kind of like set. It's kind of like the
Set the
setup of
tone.
like, hey, like, oh, this movie like was a moment in Hollywood because everyone was like, this is so wild. Like, it kind of gave an example of what a cult classic is because everyone's like, oh my god, it was so bad, it was good, and it even touched the people that are making movies. That's how crazy
Yeah.
it was.
My favorite quote from the movie is like, "This is real Hollywood movie, Greg." Me and Seth.
Not me, no Mickey Mouse. This is real
No Mickey
Hollywood.
Mouse.
No, this is a real Hollywood movie.
Me and Seth still
No
quote
Mickey
that.
Mouse.
Yeah, you do. I can confirm.
It's a real Hollywood movie, Greg.
Yeah. And
$6 million.
the impressions were spot on. Like at the end of the movie, they talk about how, or they do the shot by shot,
Side by side.
Yeah,
The
it's-
side by the fact that they pretty much just did a shot for shot remake
of the
and it
movie,
looked
yeah.
almost identical is
Yeah, it's insane.
They did a great
phenomenal.
job.
It is hilarious. James Franco did probably like he must have just
He
studied
examined this shit.
Tommy. He must have just studied Tommy for months because he just looked at him and he fucking nailed that.
I mean, do you really think it's that difficult to impersonate Tommy Wiseau? I mean,
That good? Yes. Because I think Tommy is sort of in that same ballpark of like Christopher Walken, like, oh, anyone that says they do impressions will do that impression.
yeah. I mean, we've all been doing it the whole
Exactly.
time. So
Like, oh, I can do it really good. And then, but he was like, his mannerism was good. Like his overall, like his droopy eye or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
half stroke
prosthetics,
face?
Yeah, half stroke fake he had. And it was like, I thought it was a phenomenal impersonation of him.
Right.
Agreed.
oh right, so that never actually happened with like the Bryan Cranston thing.
That never happened, but
I
him
was
calling
wondering.
him, yeah. So the Bryan Cranston thing was made up, but I guess like he talked about, he being Greg in the book, he talked about how like there are so many different ways that he would control Greg. Like, oh no, we need to go here for this scene, or we need to go here for that scene. So I guess James Franco, best way of like portraying that was through the Bryan Cranston scene of making him shave his face. Like there was no issue with in the reality. There was no issue with him shaving the face. It was just a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
But they sort of symbolize it all in that scene. But
So then they start making the room. Let's get to that part of the movie now. They start making the room, and then he's doing a behind the scenes documentary at the same time as this, kind of like the tape recorder in the movie.
Right.
So he's kind of like emulating the movie in real life at the same time because he knows people are going to talk shit about him. I'm just like, it's kind of genius. Not going to lie.
Yeah, no, he's crazy.
He's fucking crazy. But
He
it's
has
kinda
his
genius,
own.
my
He has
guy.
his own toilet, even
Yep.
though there's toilets in a.
Well, I don't know. We don't know if that's real either.
I'm just saying in the movie that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or it's like, hey, you know, we're paying for this expensive green screen of an alleyway or of a rooftop. If we just go right up to the rooftop, it's the same. We're not doing that. We can't. This is a real Hollywood movie. We can't do that.
We're not doing
Set.
Mickey Mouse.
We're not doing Mickey Mouse here. And like again, like he went to it's so much stuff was just wild. Like he went to the camera place and he's like, I will just buy these instead of rent them. And
millions of dollars. Worth
millions of
equipment.
dollars. And then he's like, we're just gonna put them both exactly line by line right next to each other, regardless of how they work. Like it is just a whole. It's a whole
thing.
It's a whole thing on how wild, like they do the cast recordings. And he pretty much just does random like improv. He's like, all right, you drink ice, you eat ice cream, but it's melting. You must eat fast. No, now you cowboy.
I love how they're just like, okay, we're just gonna fuck with this girl right now.
Yeah.
Like, you got the part. You know, It's
He's like, now you cowboy. It's like, all right, say Shakespeare, but say Shakespeare sexy. Like it made no sense.
I have to imagine working on The Disaster Artist was probably one of the most fun things they've ever done.
no,
Not for that girl.
not.
No, he's
No,
not
the disaster artist,
artist,
not
like
the
the
room.
filming of the
Oh,
room.
no, I thought you were talking about the
Not the
actual
room.
room.
No, the
The
room
disaster
itself,
artist must
everyone hated, but in the actual
Yes.
disaster artist, it
Must
was
have been the most fun they've
Yeah.
ever had making
Yeah.
a movie.
I
Honestly.
mean, I cannot imagine.
despite James Franco being who he is, but like
the amount
you know,
of like takes they have to take because probably people were laughing at James Franco
Yeah.
impression, just like they could not keep a
it keeps
straight
him in
face.
character.
I mean,
it's great.
it really shows how dedicated it was because, like, as fans of the cult classic, there are lines you talk about, like, oh, two's great, three's a crowd, or like all these lines, and James Franco distinctly put that stuff in as like, oh, a fellow fan, because like at one point even the grandmother scene, so they're like reading their lines or whatever, and the actress, again, this is like crazy meta to be like the actress who played the actress. The actress in The Disaster Artist, who is playing Lisa's mother, she's like reading the script. She goes, Tommy, says here my character gets breast cancer. Does that come back? And he's like, it's big twist. It's like James Franco
That's
had
not what a twist is.
But like James Franco, when writing The Disaster Artist or the script for it, had enough foresight to be like, hey, this is what everyone says as fans of the original movie. He's like, I'm making sure to put that in the movie. So I thought stuff like that was a great touch.
Yeah.
And then even then we have to talk about how the rooftop scene from the I Did Not Hit Her,
Okay.
and the actual Disaster Artist was like
That was they sold the trailer just based on that
was
shot.
great.
the trailer scene,
All the
alone
different
was that.
takes.
I was gonna say about the trailer. I remember the first time I
hit
saw
her.
that trailer.
You're changing the script now.
Yeah. The first time
I
I saw
hit her.
that trailer, I actually thought it was an SNL skit because I could never
it was just so good.
imagine.
Yeah.
I could never imagine. Are you really? It's like James Franco playing as Tommy Wiseau on this horrible movie from the early 2000s. Like I can't imagine anyone do it. And I'm like, oh shit, they're actually making a movie about it.
Yep.
I didn't hit her. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
I finally, when they did it, everyone's just like, "We did! Yeah!"
That was
It
the
was like
best
a
scene
big
ever.
celebration. Like it was like, was that good?
Yeah, it's a fact. And then like they talked about like, hey, use this water bottle, and then that whole thing. It was a very good scene because again, it's built like in context of the movie. It's like, oh, Tommy's having issues with Greg because Greg's doing all these roles, and then like Tommy gets in his own head. It's just take after take of like line. Tommy would never show up on time. He showed up hours late.
Yeah.
Like no AC. Like didn't give him water.
It
Like
was in the middle of a heat wave.
heat wave.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like some wild shit going on that, and or like he would deliberately like scream at actresses, which they end up showing like they do the sex scene, and James Franco or as Tommy was like, like makeup girl, like she has freckle, you must like, and then like he starts having sex with her, and she's even in the.
You're a little hot.
Yeah, the actress is like, you're a little high. And he's like, I go where I go. Don't worry about it.
Like, does this man
Aim
know
for the
how
belly button.
sex works?
Yeah, no, it is so good at portraying how wild everything was in that movie. He's yelling at her. He's got a little tube sock on.
Oh yeah, he wore the tube sock to cover his junk.
Well, yeah, and that's Hollywood's.
Yeah, that's how they do it.
but also the one scene with Chris R. when they did in this movie, it was in that it was inside. It wasn't on the
Yeah, it
rooftop
was on
where
the
they had it. I was
rooftop.
like,
Yeah, I don't know if that was like in reality they made a
Maybe they
change down the
did
line,
too,
or that
yeah.
was just something they decided to do it in that way in the movie.
that just makes it how weird that scene was in general. Maybe
Again,
that's
but
just like another
Zac Efron, great picture.
your
Terrifying.
spirit, Zac Efron,
Terrifying. You
your
literally-
spirit animal.
I don't know about that. But the fact that, again, who played Denny? Who's the actor that played Denny?
Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Josh
Like, where did we get him? Like, such a great cast.
Yeah.
He
Like,
literally-
yeah, I was filming Hunger Games. I thought I'd come over
Yeah,
here for a
exactly.
second.
I was just bored. I had nothing
Come
better
over
to
say
do.
hi.
Hey, do you want to? Do you want to roll?
Yeah. You want to roll? Here's a job. So they filmed the whole movie, and then they show Mark and Tommy having a falling out, and
Yeah.
Mark does his own thing. He does his own plays, and then finally. Honestly, nobody thought it was going to happen. Everyone just thought they got paid for this movie. They didn't think it was going to be produced or be published. And it comes out, and they're like, holy shit. So Mark gets this thing in his mail talking about, like, oh, hey, the movie's ready. And he's like, oh, no.
Oh God.
Fuck.
He's like, shit.
Career's ruined.
Career's ruined. So the final ending of the movie, which really demonstrates how different the movie and the book are, was they go to see the movie premiere. Originally, everyone's like, what the fuck? This is horrible. But then as the movie continues, like, they just start laughing. And in the movie sense, it demonstrates how this became a cult classic because they're all
Yes.
laughing at stuff. They're all like telling Tommy to do it when he's like the death scene comes up. Where in reality, it was just a movie and everyone was like, holy fuck.
So,
And they just got up and
yeah, it took a while to catch
Yeah, it
on.
took
like this guy, Neil Breen, I think is his name. He kind of is known for making these like super dumb, like just out there sci-fi movies, but like they're as shitty as The Room. And he's made like 6 or 7 of them. And he's got like a whole cult following like on YouTube and stuff.
What's the name of the actor that did all the video game adaptation? Uwe Boll.
Yeah.
Yeah, like same thing. Yeah, he makes. I mean, like his has a little bit bigger of a budget, but he makes these crappy
Yeah.
movies. But now, even looking 20 years later, people are like, it's kind of fun, Even if it's total dog shit, it's still kind of interesting to watch.
The same thing with like those Resident Evil movies. I've never seen any of them,
I don't
but
wanna-
like
yeah.
they're like he's the guy's name is Paul
Giamatti?
oh my god, I would love if he made it. No, it's like this Paul W.S. Anderson.
Oh yeah.
So like he called himself Paul Anderson for a while because he wanted to be closely associated with Paul Thomas Anderson, like PTA.
Right.
So the guy who made like fucking like Boogie Nights and
okay.
Punch
Right,
Drunk
right.
Love and There Will Be Blood. He wanted, prestige movies, wanted to be known kind of like that. He's making a Resident Evil movie.
Yeah, like, oh, wow, crazy. And so, yeah, with the ending, like, oh, everyone cheers at the end. And the ending in the movie sort of shows, oh, hey, it has that hindsight of 2020 of like, no, this became a classic, all that stuff. Whereas in the book and in reality, they were like, yeah, no, this was horrible.
It dropped like a dead weight in
it
the
just
water.
dropped. It just dropped. They're like, yeah, that was a moment that happened, and they're like, it ended more on a somber note in the book. Like, whereas in the movie, they're like, oh, this is great. This is going to have legs. This is going to be amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, now it's known as the midnight movie. It's one of those movies you go see at midnight and throw spoons at the screen.
Yep. And,
So,
and they did show that as like an ending. They had.
I did see that. Yeah.
They kind of have like an ending epilogue of like talking about how it only made 1,800.
I had to protect myself from those spoons. They were flying everywhere.
Yeah, they talked about how like it only made 1,800, but then it became a classic. It had a bunch of midnight releases. How it sort of like talked about how everyone's relationship was at the end, and then they were showing like midnight releases of people at the theaters, of throwing spoons, of Tommy and Mark actually going to premieres, signing signatures. So it's shown how over time it has become this huge like monument of a fucking thing. And I thought it was good. I thought it was a great ending because again, they also ended it by doing that literal shot for shot. Which I mean that
Side by side.
the side by side, the fact that they did it so well, like they showed the flower scene. It's just a lot of the shots, like the side by side, a lot of them wasn't even in the movie. They just did the side by side to do it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
James Franco doing the "You're Tearing Me Apart," Lisa. That wasn't in the actual Disaster Artist. They just had that at the end. The flower shop scene, that wasn't in the Disaster Artist. They just had it at the end. So just the dedication to basically pretty much redo the entire movie shot for shot just to have that side by side at the end. I thought that was awesome.
I mean,
Well, they're all
definitely-
fans. They're all fans of the movie.
Yeah, exactly, they
everybody's
are.
a fan.
I like to say that like the majority of people who've seen this movie are all fans of it, just
Yeah.
because of how ungodly awful
yeah,
it is.
exactly.
It's like if you've seen it all the way through, like you're into
Plus,
it.
Yeah.
the Disaster Artist got nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay at the 2018 Oscars.
Something like that. I don't know.
It came out in 2017.
Yeah, so 2018
Yeah.
Oscars. All right.
But it also, so I know it got nominated for an Oscar. What award did James win? Because I remember
was a
distinctly
Golden
remember-
Globe.
Golden Globe, because I
Or
remember
not-
he
it
went
was
on
some kind of-
stage with Tommy, and Tommy was about to grab
Yeah.
the mic, and James was like, "No,
He's like, no,
don't
no,
do
no,
it."
no, and everyone shit on James Franco.
Yeah,
for
because
that.
like, what the fuck?
let the man talk.
Let the man talk.
Like, yeah, I love that whole like bit. Like it was like a Tommy Wiseau-essence a little bit for like
Wiseau-essence.
Oh,
6
yeah,
months
yeah.
or whatever. My favorite one was when he was like auditioning for the Joker.
Yes.
Which is like, Tommy Wiseau, this is the new Joker, and then just cuts to
He's done a lot of other movies since then. Like I forget there was one where he plays like a mortician.
They both-
which
Sorry. Critics' Choice. Critics' Choice.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I mean, they both have, because even while, at the end of filming The Room, in that time between it being filmed and it being released, Mark had like a bunch of other, not great movies, but like he had his own filmography going on, which again, they didn't talk about in the Disaster Artist because they wanted to make
calling
it
him Mark.
that guy's
Mark Gregg.
Mark Gregg, Tommy, Johnny, it's synopsis.
the blandest of blandest names.
Exactly. But in the actual like Disaster Artist movie, they wanted to make it just seem like he was nothing without Tommy, when in reality he had his own life. He had a couple movies, and even Tommy had a handful of movies, which again, nothing was as big as The Room for them.
Yeah.
But they did have their own somewhat of a career, if you could say that, in between the time of The Room becoming this big thing.
I think the recent one he did, it was like a shark movie. Like everyone's got to do a shark movie
Yep.
because of Sharknado
Could
and
you
all
imagine the Meg with Tommy?
that. It's a shark.
The man.
Tearing me apart, shark. Oh, the shark is eating him. Like
Yes, write this down. Right
Kills
now.
himself with a
dude.
harpoon instead of a gun.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
Boy.
god, that would be perfect. And then you just
no, he shoots himself before the shark eats him.
My girlfriend's swimsuit.
At the beginning of the movie, he's like
would be-
out
this
with
would be
him. Like
perfect.
she's like the first victim of the Meg, and then like the only thing that washes up is her swimsuit. And he's
we have to write this. Someone get a laptop right now. We gotta write this
Meg
up.
3.
I thought you were bringing yours.
I didn't think we'd catch this.
Wait, no. The Meg 3,
The
the,
Meg 3,
room.
the room. Inside the room.
No, yeah, Meg inside of the room.
Yep. Starts with like a fishbowl in his apartment. Like, I got you something, Lisa.
The fish turtle.
Wait, it's the same character.
She flushes it down the toilet, and that's what becomes the shark.
Make
Write
love
this
to me.
down.
No,
Write this down.
No, what happens is, he's like, I got you fish. And she's like, I love it. And then they have a sex scene, and then the fish witnesses the horrific sex scene.
jumps
And
in
then
the
she's
toilet.
like, I don't love
Commit
Johnny.
suicide,
Flushes it down
jumps
the toilet. And then that
killed
fish
your
becomes
fish,
the
Johnny.
Meg.
Oh my god, this is perfect.
But
We
then-
have to do this.
But it's like a
Well,
prequel
before
to
we
the
give the
room.
whole plot
Yeah,
away
we
of
have
this
$6 million.
movie, before we give the
Tommy
plot
will.
away of
Tommy
this
will do
movie,
this.
what do we give the Disaster Artist?
The Disaster Artist, because it is so. I mean, I guess like every other movie from a book, it's just wildly different than the original source material. But I'll say just the amount of dedication and service to the fan base, I will give it a solid. I'll give it a solid 8.7.
87. All right.
So for me, I've actually seen this movie before, but for some odd reason, the day that I watched it, I couldn't finish it for some reason. There was just something not right with it. After watching it recently and going through the whole entire thing, I did enjoy it. I mean, again, like what he said is it's a perfect interpretation of how they did it. It's so much funny. The people that made it obviously had a lot of passion for it. I'll give it like a 8.5.
85. I was also going to give it an 85. That's pretty much how I feel about it as well. They did a great job with it. James Franco probably could have been nominated for Best Actor, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
But, it never would have happened, but, it could have. So,
I'll give it an 80 because I've seen it like 5 times. I know it's gonna happen. And it's still a good watch, but it's just
Real
like
Hollywood movie, Greg.
it's real Hollywood movie, Greg.
No Mickey Mouse.
No
no
Mickey
Mickey
Mouse,
Mouse. Yeah, so
Maybe.
but yeah, I think there's a lot of better A24 movies, obviously.
God,
and-
yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but
Yeah, so-
you can't be mad at a movie because its production company is good.
Well, no, I mean like they're known for like super high quality stuff. This is like
High quality, low budget. That's the known
yeah.
for.
And then also like the fact that it's not really accurate, that kind of brings it down too. But
Yeah, all right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
not bad.
Yeah,
Shouldn't
no.
have.
He's just shitting on it.
He
He's
is.
a hater. He's a
just-
hater.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a part of it because I couldn't like finish it for some reason.
Yeah, no, I get that. It takes a lot of attention.
It's a little
honestly.
too cringy in some parts.
can
but,
be.
you know.
Yeah, like the whole restaurant scene. Like we watched it the other night. I was like, "Oh my god, this is painful."
I was like, scream it!
No, not that one. The one where he like finds a producer by himself,
Yeah.
and like goes to the producer, and the producer's like, "Bro, I'm just eating."
Oh, Judd
food."
Apatow's like,
Yeah,
he's
I'm
like,
just
oh.
eating food. He's like trying to hand him like a headshot. Like again, it was good because like that was the point of that scene was to like you
Make it
wanted to
uncomfortable.
feel
Yeah, it's like-
uncomfortable.
Well, even the
Stop.
sex scene itself was uncomfortable, like on all parts, because he's like, don't
Well,
fuck
yeah, there's
with
that.
her, and
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he talks about how like he uses Hitchcock as an excuse, which
Oh yeah, right.
which if a director's using that as an excuse, you know it's a problem because every bad director will just go to Hitchcock, which is not all
Yeah.
right.
Hitchcock did it too.
He threw a bird, yes,
Genius.
yes, Tommy. I've seen the movie. He threw a bird at people, yes, Tommy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he throw bird in.
All right. Well, seems like we're wrapping this movie up here. We're Seen It Before. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok with the handle @SeenItBeforecast. That's SCENE It Beforecast. And on Twitter with the handle SIB_pod. I'm Dan.
I'm Danny. You can find me at Danny_Was, my Instagram. Why do I keep doing that?
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Dan. At DJ Was, just serialized and letterboxed, and my YouTube channel, which is just Danny Was.
You guys want to plug anything? Any social
I don't
medias
wanna- I don't
you
wanna-
That's
know
just
who
John,
I
and that's
am.
just Chris.
Yeah.
All right. There we go.
My identity's hidden. Do you want to know where I am?
We're on vacation next week, so we're not going to be around next
Yeah.
week. We're going to do Talk to Me, but that is moved to our roundup episode at the end of this year. The next movie I think we have is we have scheduled Edge of Tomorrow. I don't know if that's going to happen yet, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, if we don't see you, it's been an honor as usual. We'll see you next time.